Welcome to the squad. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and do us a favor, like, comment, share, and subscribe. This show is sponsored by Rayon Cognac. Join the movement. We're going to get right into NFL football, and we're going to start arguing in a few seconds. NFL playoffs, I know you want to talk about that.
Hell yeah, cheap bastards. Bullshit, bro.
In an NFL game, you usually get 10 to 12 possessions.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, unless the team gives you extra possessions with turnovers.
Okay.
Buffalo gave their opponent 5 extra possessions.
Okay.
To score. And that's why I said I text on the group chat that Buffalo needs to, they got 4 more possessions left, and they need to score all 4. Now, when I said that, Denver gave them a possession, they gave it back. Now they got 3. And you needed to score all 3, preferably touchdowns, to win that game. And they tied it. Now you get a couple of extra possessions. And they didn't get it done. So I understand the calls and, it's home field advantage, all that other stuff, but you didn't get it done. He actually looked like he threw the ball on the ground. He waiting for somebody to come around the corner and he, fumbled again. Then he underthrows a guy he had wide open. Then he overthrows a guy he had wide open. And I'm looking at more of him suspect. And his reaction after the end of the game makes me more suspect that maybe you were on the take, bro, because you reverting right back to what you were doing before. And please miss me with Josh Allen, great Josh Allen, Superman, because he ain't proved a damn thing. Quit giving him MVPs and all that stuff. He's not the one. He's not the one. He can't handle big games. He just can't do it.
I would agree with that part. And I understand about what have you. And I understand about how you and James both rationalizing this shit. But what I saw was blatant in them up. And you can't tell me on a game this damn big that the damn refs should be allowed to mess that shit up.
How they mess it up?
You gotta make that call. That was not an interception.
That was an interception.
No, it wasn't.
Bro. Because the player didn't have control. The defensive player took control.
Okay, but he did not take control, as you say, until you hit the ground. The shit's over.
He didn't have control when he hit the ground.
Oh, come on,
man. He did not have control when he hit the ground.
I'm with you, but then how can it cannot be?
If he had control, when he hit the ground, he would have still had the ball.
But when you say, and maybe I'm watching football different than you, when a motherfucker hit the ground and he ain't got control of the ball, you grab it, that's an interception?
It didn't hit the ground. It hit the ball didn't hit the ground. The ball was still up for grabs.
It's moving around. He grabbed the ball from him.
But the ball
he took it from him.
The ball didn't drop on the ground. He was still
with you.
Took it from him.
What, bruh? I hear you. But it ain't like it just came out and he grabbed it. He took the motherfucker from him.
Yeah, it didn't hit the ground. He
took it.
He didn't have control. He didn't have control. Then he took it. You're exactly right.
You snatched it. That's not an interception.
But he did not have control of it. The ball didn't hit the ground, so he took it.
Nah, bro, but that's not an interception.
It's
not an interception. No,
I believe it's an interception. And I ain't got no skin in the game. I ain't got no skin in the game.
I don't either. I ain't rolling with Buffalo with that too, but that's not an interception. Not when I'm watching football. And the problem with that is, for me, they didn't check it. We made the call, we moving on. How you don't check that shit?
Yeah, I agree with that because they've been doing that with Bears games. I understand that.
This shit is crucial. This is, we talk about the postseason. To your point, which I'm gonna still make on this damn show, you always talk about shit ain't right. This is some shit that J motherfuckers is cheating. Damn it, it's time.
I agree.
So guess what? So now you don't get to go, well, you do that other shit now. No, sir. I'm gonna call your ass out on the 2. You do not get to go backpedal now.
I understand that. I understand that they should have, and I've said that in earlier shows. They should check it, make sure. Especially in the playoffs. And
all I'm saying to you,
when I went back and looked back at it, I'm like, you know what? As an interception.
Okay, but Ben, clarify that shit though. You don't get to do that. That's even worse. You didn't clarify the motherfucker. You should have looked at that shit. It's too crucial. We moving forward. As much as Josh Allen messed up, this is crucial that the motherfucker get this right. Now let that shit happen with the fucking Bears. They're gonna have an uproar. Motherfuckers gonna be rioting and all kind of shit. They
But
picking and choosing what they want. You can't do that shit.
but you
And,
know,
and
but
mm,
what I would say is I understand. I agree with what you're saying. There's no dispute with that. My thing is it doesn't erase the 5 turnovers.
I'm with
Doesn't.
you. Okay, great. But it's how many, all I'm saying to you is you're right. It doesn't raise the 5 turnovers. But there are a lot of teams that play football games that play fucking horrible. But let them lose on their own accord, not because you added some bullshit to it. You're right. They didn't play well. They probably should have lost regardless. But do not let the referees control the shit because they made a bad fucking call. That's even worse. If they lose and they 5 turnovers, Josh Allen to do what he's supposed to do, 100%. I agree with that. But you don't get to just do some stupid shit. And also, too, the boys about to throw that pass, and the motherfucker was all over him in the end zone. It was pass interference. They didn't call that shit. This fucking homer shit. I know I'm not a homer dude, but when shit is wrong, it's fucking wrong, bruh. It make it look bad. It's the same shit you be talking about. It make it look like motherfuckers is cheating.
And I agree.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It make it look, and I'm watching this shit going, I can't even watch this shit no more now. I don't even want to watch it no more. And Karma's a motherfucker. You said you want to. I don't know what happened. Why that motherfucker break his ankle? Karma's
You
a
know what?
bitch.
It is
He's
karma.
a bitch.
It is karma because I am not a fan at all of Sean Payton. I think he's despicable.
Yeah.
I think he is rude. I think he doesn't deserve anything of success ever. And I hate to wish that on another human being.
Yeah.
But when that happened, you could tell he got a gut punch. And he don't even believe what he said at the end. Like, the backup coming back and he's like, you wait and see. You don't even believe that.
Yeah.
All those games that Russell Wilson won for you and you dogged him in Denver. I bet you wish you had him now.
Because now, like you say, it's karma.
It's karma.
It's karma. That's all I'm saying. That shit is karma. So you may not believe in that shit. People that believe in it, but it's karma like a motherfucker. You celebrating, and then oh, by the way, your dude broke his fucking ankle. Oh my, what? No. Are you serious? If I'm coaching and my team wasn't good enough, cool. If my team was so bad that they have 5 turnovers and my quarterback didn't do what he's supposed to do, I'm the first dude. You're right. They had opportunity, they had chances, but don't fucking add to it by cheating. Let the shit play itself out. That's all I'm saying. Make the fucking calls you're supposed to make. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Well, I'm saying this. You got a quarterback who he looked like he pulled the ball a little bit back and underthrew number 18. I don't know who number 18 is. He missed that play. Then a tight end wide open. And you overthrow him like that. Superman. Big time plays.
I am not disputing nothing you just said.
So those are 2 plays. So the 2 plays you mentioned about bad calls and all that, those were times you could have corrected it. I'm gonna call you out now. You always say quarterbacks got to make the plays when it counts.
They do.
And he did not make the plays when it counts.
I agree. And I'm having the same conversation I had with you right now that I had with James. James said, James said, what about your boy Dak Prescott? I said, if a motherfucker cheat Dak Prescott and he didn't make the plays, I'll be the first one to go, yo, y'all did that. That's fucked up by Dak. But I'm on Dak because he ain't making plays. I'm on Allen because he didn't make no plays. But don't cheat these motherfuckers. Don't cheat it. Don't add some extra shit in it. And they did on that. And if Dak had something where they was cheating and why Dallas lost, I'd be like, yeah, they fucked Dak on that. But that ain't never been the case. Dak says ain't made no plays.
And I've been the poster boy.
Yeah.
On fixed games and cheating and them not calling calls. It's almost like, okay, you're gonna expect. I expect it. I expect it on both sides. I expect it, especially with a team that's at home in Denver. I expect it. I expect it with the betting lines. I expect it.
So guess what?
But I think a number of people are upset, including you, is that this was Buffalo's time.
It's not even Buffalo's time.
No. It's Buffalo's time because all the obstacles that kept Buffalo away from the Super Bowl before, they're gone. And they still didn't get it done.
And I'm with you. And I feel you. I thought it was Buffalo's time. But if they didn't win the game flat out, they didn't win it. I'm cool with that. I'm not gonna say I'm feeling some kind of way because it's no time. I'm feeling some kind of way because the shit wasn't right.
It wasn't, and I'm never going to claim it was.
And all I'm saying is you say you the poster boy. I need you to be in your fucking office now.
No,
I need you to be in your office.
no, because
I need you. I need you. Look. Wait a minute. We got a complaint. I need you in your office. You're the head of Busman. I need your ass. Don't be. I need you in your office.
I agree. They're making bogus calls. It looks suspect. I agree. I agree totally with that. But Buffalo did not help themselves in this.
There's no argument. There's no argument.
Help themselves in this. And this is what I've been saying about Buffalo for going back to Jim Kelly.
Right.
They are their own worst enemy, and they're snake bit.
I agree with that, and they may be. I'm not arguing with that at all. But there was 2 motherfucking calls, and one of them was blatant as fuck that make you go, mother, what? Because if you make the call and you stand on it, and those mistakes, as you say, that Buffalo made, they still lose. Okay, cool. I ain't saying they should have won, but I am saying y'all made that shit look crazy as hell. That's all I'm saying. And it's worse. Now I'm looking at the shit for what it is. I'm like, now you got me.
And brother, I'm with you. I did not want to see Denver win.
I don't even care about who wins. I just want it to be fair.
Yeah, I too. But
that's all. That's all. As much
when
as I
I thought about it, I've been thinking about it since it happened. When I thought about it, I'm like, matter of fact, there's one of my TikTok friends. She's a singer. I think she's out of Detroit or Michigan or whatever. And she was like, oh, the referees, really stole it from her. And I wrote it back and I said, you know what? I said, Buffalo didn't help themselves with the turnovers. You can't give the ball away. You can't give 5 possessions. You just expect to win in the playoffs. You can't do it.
You are singing to the choir. But just because they was horrible that day or this yesterday doesn't mean you should the referees get to play a part in it where they mess it up because we don't know.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
That just to me it almost it takes the whole shit. Because I mean, did I want Buffalo to win? Yeah. Do I not like Denver? Yeah. But I'm not as biased enough to go, oh well shit. I'm feeling some kind of way. I wanted to be this way. I'm saying is if I'm watching any game, and I'm watching the game, even if it's my beloved Ohio State, I'm watching the game, I'm like, oh man, they did them motherfuckers wrong. They did them wrong. And it's like they did the other team wrong. And I just want to see a fair game. I don't think it was fair.
Okay, they did them wrong. You did yourself wrong yourself.
I mean, and that's cool. I roll with that. I'm not saying for their mistakes, but that doesn't mean because people make mistakes all the time, they mess up and they still win. But the referee should not play a part as to why they lost. That opportunity was another opportunity.
I got that. The call in the end zone. Okay, I got that. You got another call that you felt that, hey, the guy didn't intercept the ball. Okay, I got that. Yeah. You had another couple of downs to make it right. You couldn't.
Okay, yeah, but I get that. But these are crucial games. One, if the ball, the one in the end, the one interference towards the end zone, we at the goal line. We scoring that motherfucker. They scoring it. We are scoring on that team. We're scoring. Because when you pull this shit and he going right in the end zone, ball's at the 1 yard line. That's a touchdown. Right? It's a touchdown. I mean, for the most part, they're gonna score. Opportunity with this shit too. They was moving forward too. We just gonna get 3 points. I'm just saying.
I agree with what you said. I'm not backpedaling on what I say about the refs, fixed games, and all that stuff. Sure. I was talking to Dredd about this last night, and I was like, you know what? I understand that. But like I said, teams get, on average, 10 to 12 possessions per game. You may get some extra ones on turnovers, and that's why ball control is so important in football games, because you can take away a couple of possessions if you're keeping the ball longer than 5, 10, almost damn near 20 minutes. You cut down the other team's possession. And in the playoffs, it's very crucial. You cannot afford to make mistakes in the playoffs like that. And Buffalo made mistakes. They made mistakes during the season like this, and now they're making them in the playoffs like this. And yeah, it's unfair. You got some bad calls. You were on the end of some bad calls, but you gave up 5 possessions. You gave them
I
up. You gave the
I
other
I,
team a chance to win, and they
I
scored on
agree.
those possessions.
I
Most of
agree
the
with
possessions they
that.
scored on.
I agree with what everything that you just said and how valuable those possessions are. And Buffalo did not do themselves any favor, which is even more important that the damn officials slash referees had to be on point in these type games because it matters when there's so many possessions and things are going on. And Buffalo did not do it any favor. But you as a referee they do not need to pile on to make it even worse. So if they lose, fair and square. But those are two crucial moments in the game. Yeah, they had five more. They could have done this. They had two more possessions. But the bottom line is you affected the game by what you called or did not call. That's just real to me. You affected the game. So granted, if nothing happened and those two plays never happened and Buffalo lost, Buffalo should have done what they had to do. But the point of it is, and I always say this about every time I watch sports, and I said this when I coach. If I'm coaching, I want to make sure I tell my players we need to do everything we can to make sure the referees are not involved in the game. And to me, yesterday, they were involved in the game. They're not supposed to be involved in the game. Let the team lose on their own merit, which Buffalo probably would have lost anyway, despite the two plays. I give you that. But the referees became part of the game. That's all I'm saying. They became part of the game, and I got a problem with that. You don't have to be perfect, but damn, when you have an opportunity to at least go look at a play and see, make sure it was correct.
Yeah,
What are we spending all this money? They spend all this money in New York for all these damn screens and all these people watching, all these people waiting, and you don't even go to New York to make sure it's right. Otherwise, let's get rid of that stuff and go back to where it was. Old school Minnesota versus Dallas, offensive pass interference. Let's say the hell with it, and let the trained eye do it. Cause then you just have to live with it. But don't tell me with all this technology and all this stuff coming from the age of Aquarius and the ninth moon rising, all this shit we got now that you can't get this shit right. At least go look at it.
yeah,
You
and
insult my
I mentioned that.
intelligence.
I mentioned that a few weeks ago with
But
the
you insult my intelligence though, and
yeah,
all the people in there,
and
all this technology.
I'm glad you're getting to where I've been for the whole season about their
Okay,
crucial plays in the game where they don't even look at it. And I'm like, well, I just saw that. And then they show it on social media or saw it somewhere else where the person didn't catch the ball. There was something else going on and they didn't even check it. So that leads people to believe, we keep coming back to this. This is sports entertainment. They determine who they want to win.
okay, and on this point, you might be right, but on this time, don't stay in your office. You've been in that office for a long time. Stay your ass in the office, cause I got to
That's
complain.
it. I'm in the office.
Stay your ass
I
in the office.
I agree.
Wait, let me finish. Be the ombudsman I need you to be right now. I got to complain. I need your office open. I got to complain. Don't look. It's great you in the office. Ain't nobody came to you. I have a formal complaint. I need you as my ombudsman to be in the office and take my damn complaint.
Well, here's where I got on this. Watching football all these years, I cannot get excited about it anymore because I know this exists. It's like we talked offline many times where when did you find out there is no Santa Claus, there is no Easter Bunny? And I've gotten that way with sports. It's like, okay, there are powers that are in control that decide what's going to happen in each game. And so it's far beyond me. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what buttons. I don't know what the Wizard of Oz is doing behind the curtain. So I'm not going to get all wound up and start beating my chest and yelling about the refs not doing this, not doing that. It's obvious what they're doing. But when I do take that in consideration, because I will say again, I do not have a dog in this race. I do not have a dog in this race. I picked New England and the Los Angeles Rams to go to the Super Bowl. Okay, if neither one of them go, I still don't have a dog in the race. I'm just making these picks. But it's been looking funny for the last few years. It's been looking crazy, and they're determining these games, and I see it. But you cannot give another team 5 possessions. You can't do it. You can't turn the ball over and expect to win. And we know that. That's fundamental football.
It is fundamental football, but I'm gonna go back to you, ombudsman, And I'm gonna say the same thing that I've been saying before. You've been in the office, you've been talking about it for the longest time. Now I'm not gonna go far as you is they already know who's gonna win the game. I ain't still on that train. I do think there are some moments where whatever happens, they make it where it's almost impossible, where you gotta really be almost perfect to win the games. I would say that part. Is there some shakiness going on behind the scenes, particularly with this last game? I would agree with that. I ain't gonna go far as every game they picking who gonna choose. I ain't there yet. I'm I am moving towards to the darkness. I'm moving forward. Darth Vader's in my ear. I'm moving that way. I was over here. Now I'm slowly but surely coming over here. But all I'm saying to you is when we look at this stuff and the things are put down the way that they are, there's a lot of people looking at it a certain kind of way. But what I'm saying to you is we have to call it out the way that it is. And I think there's a lot of people that are frustrated that may be coming to your office, that want to come to your office and see it. But then now, because it happened and we start to maybe see it the way that you do, Mr. Ombudsman, right? We started seeing you do. Then when we need you and come to the office, you ain't there. You don't went to lunch. I'm saying,
So
you want to
what
wait a
is
minute.
it?
I'm just saying.
My,
You want to tell. Let me say this. Then you want to go like, well, it's in 5 possessions. You got to do this. Granted, that is football. But you have been saying for the longest time, Mr. Ombudsman, what it is. So now, don't give me 5 possessions. You got to take care of the ball. You got to do these are the things that you got to do when you play football. I don't want to hear that. You have been saying for the longest time. Something wrong with it. I see it. People see it. Get your ass in the office.
Okay. So what is it going to take? Because we can't overturn it.
Yeah, I'm with you, but still, that don't mean.
So we can jump up and down, we can scream, we can point it. Oh, I see it, I see it, I see it. We've been doing it for years.
Yeah, but now
the outcome, and they know that we're just gonna for the next few days. The public, I mean, the nation will probably be upset about it, but football will happen next weekend. And
it will
go on. But Buffalo, the fans there will say, "Oh, we got cheated," just like the Dallas Cowboys said. Dez made that catch. It'll go on forever, and we'll keep talking about the NFL. What is it going to take for us to? What is it going to take for us as fans who watch this to say, you know what? I'm tired of them playing in our faces, and I don't want to watch anymore because I've done it. I've done it. I proved I could do it. I don't have to watch the NFL season. I don't. I proved it. I proved it to myself. I don't have to watch. When Kaepernick did his thing, I'm like, I'm not watching the NFL for a whole year. I'm not.
You're right.
I prove I can do it. But it's an addictive drug that people can't leave alone. And despite how they feel about this, despite the atrocity this is, they're going to still come back because they can't give it up.
You're right. And that's why you need to have your ass in your office. That's why. That's why. You're absolutely right. You just said it so eloquently. So I'm going to tell you, when we need you, stay in your office.
I'm in the office. What I'm going to ask is, what sacrifices are people willing to make to change this and say, you know what? I'm tired of them playing in our faces with this. And I'm not going to the games. They got a game tonight with Chicago and the Rams. I ain't sitting in that cold ass bowl they have over there on the lakeshore until they start doing this right and showing some integrity. Because and I know, and I sent you an article about the fixing scandal happening with the Chinese and American college basketball. It's getting worse and worse by the day, bro.
And that's why the NCAA is really lost. And we talk about college, it's really lost its luster. It really doesn't matter anymore. All I'm going to just say to you, I hear all that and what's going on. Again, that's why you need to stay in your office. And you can't be jumping over here talking about,
I ain't jumping nowhere.
You sound like you don't when you start talking about the number of plays.
I totally agree with you, bro. We ain't got no fight against each other on this one. The calls were, I watched the same thing. That call with the interception, I believe that's the interception based on the rule, because I went back and looked at the rule. Based on the
I looked at the rules too. And we disagree on that.
We
disagree on that. Disagree on that.
Okay, we'll disagree on that. But I'm looking at, I mean, you can't throw the ball on the ground. like Josh Allen did. You can't wait for a lineman. You can hear the linebacker or the lineman coming, and now you want to try to toss the ball like it's a fumble. You can't underthrow and overthrow. You're supposed to be Superman. You're supposed to be the great MVP.
Nah,
Please don't
nah,
put great with Josh Allen no more.
nah. Well, I'm not gonna go that route, and we can talk
I'm sitting
about
there
that. I'm
crying
not.
after the game, talking about it's my, I felt like I left the team now. No, your teammates won't say it, but I'll say it. You did. You gave up 3 possessions. You gave up 3 possessions. You gave up a touchdown, overthrowing that wide open tight end, and you underthrew that dude where this play wouldn't even have happened if you didn't underthrow him. You pulled up on that. I know how to play the quarterback position. You pulled up on that pass and you underthrew it. You underthrew that pass. If anything, you overthrew it and let the receiver go out and get it. But you underthrew that and you caused that. So I don't have a I don't have a dog in this race. But
who does? I don't either.
I understand how people can say, hey, or feel, and I've seen the same thing. But I'm like, okay, those are 2 penalties that were called, weren't called. But okay, what about the 5 turnovers? What about, you not doing what you need to do? What about you not really getting your reads together? What about you not stopping the Denver Broncos from scoring? What about all the other stuff? So if the coach and everybody else wants to harp on that interception or this, you had other opportunities. You blew a lot of opportunities in that game to win that game.
I don't think that there is, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with anything that you said. And maybe they were to their own detriment the reason why they lost the game. I have no problem with that. But it is it's supposed to be the duty and the responsibility of the officials in a game that tight with crucial plays to at least make sure that they do the best that they can. And I think they fell short in both instances. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. Buffalo didn't do itself any favors. But how can I legitimately look at this now and go, whatever? And you mentioned about what are the people willing to do? Some people may be willing to do certain things. There always going to be that group of people that's always going to go to the games and whatever. But I think there are a number of other people like myself. I have no desire to go sit in the cold and pay for the money. Maybe because I'm spoiled because I used to be with the media. I have certain things. That's why I stopped watching wrestling. Because you're going to insult my intelligence by going, look, okay, well, we already know, we're telling y'all know it's not real. And you paying for
And they don't
entertainment, as you
care.
said.
They don't
Right,
care.
right. They don't care because at least back in the day, I know we're going old school, we're going too long on whatever subject, but at least back in the day, when the wrestlers would come out, they come in, they cut their forehead, they show the blood, they give you the best show possible. And they give it to you right there because it was live and straight. Whatever they put out there, they put out there and they live with it. But now what we're doing too with the wrestling thing, you turn back and you're in the arena, they stop, they go back and they run the same thing back 3 times. Like, oh, we got to get through this for the show. What the hell am I paying for? And not just that damn stupid. Some people will go in there and just accept whatever they
Yeah,
give
they
them.
will.
That's why but when we were coming up, it was whatever it was. And then they taped it and they showed it. But now, as you said, they keep doing other things. And probably they're doing that with football now, which now is, like I said, with that being said, I will keep that in mind. And I don't need to go to the games. I might watch them. I don't watch them like I used to. I watch them periodically. And I'm also tired of watching what I would say poor performances from quarterbacks and other people that's supposed to make plays. They're making bad. They're not performing the way I expect them to. So, and that's why I say what I say. I'm like, oh damn, you want to, like you said, Josh Allen's not Superman. You want to be considered great? Make the plays to become great.
Make the plays.
That's what's wrong with the media. We want to put all these. Oh, he's the best eighth grader. What the hell are you talking about? Make the plays. There's a difference between good, okay, and great. There should be levels, not because he did this, he got all the #1 stats.
Because
you
they want him to be. They want him to be. Just like
you can want you right, but you can want him to be all you want to. If he don't reach the mark, don't give it to him. You got to reach the mark. It's like you can have all the stats in the world, but part of being great comes with winning. That's why, and I'm gonna get out this real quick. Probably my last second shot as well. As much as I thought Pistol Pete Maravich was a great basketball player individually,
Mm.
he was never one of the greatest because he wasn't a winner.
Nope.
He was a scorer. He scored, and sometimes when he was not able to score because they shut him down, he looked below average than the other guys that were great that made people better.
You know
That's
what?
all I'm saying.
We're going to talk about the coaching situation and the musical chairs with coaching. But Sandra Bernhard said it best in a movie called Hudson Hawk. The world is jam packed with idiots, and so that being said, they're going to continue to be played with these sports. They're going to continue to play. They're going to continue to get the pressure up. The refs did this and yelling and being on social media and rah 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 and beating your chest and and arguing. And the NFL loves it because it keeps the NFL in their mouth. That's the greatest. Some of this stuff is by design, bro, because they have, just like, how many years ago did Des Bryant? I thought he dropped the ball. But how many years ago did Des Bryant, that happened to Des Bryant with the Green Bay Packers when they said, "Oh, it was a catch"?
Yeah, no, you're right. Many years
Still
ago,
talking
right?
about that.
But the problem with that is for me is according to the rules at that time, it wasn't a catch
Yep. And
at the
so,
time.
but people don't care. Like,
But guess what they did? The NFL changed the rule.
yep.
They changed the rule and basically showing you that they admitted it. Same way with college football playoff. You put these Power Five teams too high in the rankings, and then when they have to play the real team in the second round, they get blown out.
To me, it's very evident in the NFL that some franchises are not there to win. The Atlanta Falcons, the New York Giants, not there to win. The coaches you selected, we talked about this last week, they keep reshuffling these coaches, and these teams are not even mediocre. And you take a team, one of the memes that I saw was Deion Sanders, Coach Prime's response to the Atlanta selection as coach. He was like, "Lord have mercy. Lord have." I just started laughing because you wonder about these teams, and that's why I'm telling these fans and I'm telling folks out there who follow sports, especially NFL, don't get too wrapped up into these teams. Don't get too wrapped up. It's kind of like a plan that, okay, you just stay status quo. You shuffle in a coach here and there. Pittsburgh, they lost their coach since the last time we were on the show. Tomlin steps down. There's some other reasons why people are speculating that why he stepped down, but he seems to be going to a television booth. There's some family personal matters that are going on. I'm not going to mention until I get proof of that. It's stuff just circulating around the internet right now. But here again, Aaron Rodgers kills another coach. He killed the coach in Green Bay. When LaFleur came in, he was like, "Oh no, you got to get out of here. I'm not losing my job for you." He killed the coaches with the Jets. Now with Pittsburgh, everywhere he goes, a coach leaves or a coach is fired, man. And so I told you early on in the season when the Pittsburgh Steelers got this guy that this is a bad sign, that he's not going to be there. I thought he was going to step down. I like Mike T. I love Coach T. And I tried to defend him for years. But some of the decisions he's been making for the last few years hasn't been working. Been there 18, 19 years and 0 for 7 in the last 7 years in the playoffs, 1 Super Bowl ring, and he can't get the team out of the first round of the playoffs, even though he never had a losing season. I commend the Steeler organization, the Rooneys, for sticking with him as long as they could. And Ryan Clark, please miss me with why they did this to him, right? Because he's black. No, he was there 19 years, bro. Name me another coach who got that much time to win. Please name me another coach that did that. It ain't got nothing to do with his color. He wasn't getting the job done. Your thoughts on the coaching changes and the coach firings and stepping downs in the last few days?
Well, we're gonna stay right in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin. When you mentioned about Aaron Rodgers being the coach killer, I can see that. I can understand that. But when you bought into Aaron Rodgers, particularly where he was at and where he is in his career and where he's fallen down, like what he was, that horrible debacle with the Jets, you got to know what you're buying. They knew what they were buying. They thought he was going to be some type of resurrection between him and him, Tomlin. Always wanted to come play for you, all this other stuff. So you know what you're buying. So when the results come out and he doesn't produce what you want him, and your team doesn't respond because you don't have really, truly quality wide receivers to get that done, you're still struggling really at the running back position. So there's a few things there, as you mentioned, those intangibles. Why are you surprised? Why are we surprised? I'm granted, he's just doing what he does. He old. He can't get it done anymore. He's showing you that. So when you go out and you re-sign him or bring him in like he's gonna change everything around, he showed you the whole season he did not do that. So in a way, I'm kind of like, as much as we talk about Tomlin, and Tomlin was there for it, and maybe that's part of the reason why Tomlin said, you know what? Besides where we make things going on the outside, I've been here 19 years. Last 7 years, as you said, I'm not getting it done. Maybe it's time for some new blood. So whomever, whatever, it's time. And maybe Aaron Rodgers does need to walk away. If they are really serious about making this happen, and people were mentioning about from the standpoint of Pittsburgh, when you look at them, they've only had 3 coaches. So they take their time. When they decide to make a change or they move forward, they take their time because they're not into moving coaches around. They take a coach, they pick a coach, it's going to be for a long tenure. Unless they change up now, but that's how they normally run. So they give you enough time to do the job or not, and then a decision is made. So now a decision will be made, and now Pittsburgh, the franchise, has to find that next great one or the next person they're gonna ride with for a while. So it is what it is. But let's not act as if Aaron Rodgers really had a chance to be different than who he is. He showed you who he is at this level, at his juncture in his career. And maybe it's time to hang it up and let him go off into the wild blue yonder and go off on another retreat. But don't be surprised when he showed you who he was. Like my man said, you want to crown him. He's not a king. He showed you who he is. Looking at some of the other situations as far as the movement is concerned, Atlanta and Stefanski. Oh my goodness, what is that? I don't know, and maybe they feel with the situation is right that Stefanski can really coach a team when the pieces are there. Does he have weapons there? Yes. Kirk Cousins, if he comes back, if he's still under contract. You have Penix at quarterback as well. You have a very solid running back. The defense is okay, moving along. London, number 5, Drake London is amazing. They have a lot of potential, and maybe they think Stefanski can get it done. Good luck with that. While he is a 2-time coach of the year, he's also showed what on his bad side who he is. You cannot tell me, as you're sitting here looking at this, that when you look at the debacle of that quarterback carousel they had in Cleveland, where they purposely brought in 2 veterans, right? When they brought in 2 veterans in Flacco and was it Trubisky or whoever, so 2 guys in, then you go out and get your guy who you think is your guy in Oregon, bring in Gabriel, and then just because the owner really made you, you grab Shedeur Sanders. And the madness that took place in that quarterback room throughout the whole year, you can't put any of that on Stefanski. You're the coach. You are the coach. So to think he's going to go down to Atlanta, and I may be wrong, but from what I saw from there, he definitely shouldn't have had a job this year. If he went down, I don't know what he told Arthur Blank or whatever, but I don't get it. I don't get it. And looking at these other places, when you looked about the Giants and Harbaugh, I'll say this. I'm not sure if that's the perfect coach for them, and maybe at all. I'm not saying it is, but I understand. I understand. I think that at least they made a decision that they believe is something that's going to at least be somebody with experience, somebody at least that maybe try to get them somewhat right. And I've seen there could be worse hires. They made a lot of mistakes over the last so many years. So Harbaugh may not be the answer, but they hope that he's stable and helping them turn around. And maybe not, maybe not. I don't know, but I'm just saying from that standpoint, it's not the worst hire.
Yeah, I think it is because he was a coach who had like 17, 18, maybe 19 games where he had double-digit leads and lost them. What kept happening to the Giants this year? About 5 or 6 times. They had double-digit leads and they lost them. And that's coaching. That's coaching. And so it's like these teams get really enamored with these famous names and these coaches that came from somewhere else, and like, oh, we got to have them. We'd be glad to have them. I remember when Tony Kornheiser said, if Mike Tomlin leaves, there are a bunch of NFL teams who will want him. And I'm like, to get to a 9-8 record and then get bounced out in the first round. I mean, it ain't all the players all the time. Sometimes it's the coaching, it's the coaching moves, it's the coaching decisions, it's making bonehead front office decisions to bring in certain players that aren't going to help you. And so that's why I'm getting tired of it. And I know, me and Windhawk have been going back and forth about it, about retreading these old coaches. Give somebody some new blood that can come in and help a team win, that are new, innovative, things of that sort. I don't see Harbaugh really helping the Giants, especially in that division in the NFC. Your Achilles heels all year is that you couldn't hold a lead, and then you get a coach who is notoriously losing double-digit leads in games. He's like, he stopped coaching after halftime, and the team loses. So, maybe he'll show me something different. I don't know, but I'm not holding my hopes up high. And I'm wondering why the former Miami coach, I read a report that Tampa Bay is holding him hostage. They don't want him to leave. They want him to sign a contract to be an offensive coordinator. I'm like, did you just see what he did in Miami and how he lost the team? Did you not see that? And I thought, to be honest with you, Todd Bowles was out of there. I thought he was out of there. I really thought he was one of the coaches out of there, just like the coach with the Jets. And then you see the game yesterday with the Seahawks. And I understand that these teams that got to buy, those teams were fresher, but you put up no defense against the Seattle Seahawks yesterday. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. And now he's like one of the leading candidates for a number of teams. The defensive coordinator is a lead candidate to be a head coach. And you saw what he did with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers got him canned with the Jets. I don't get it. I'm tired of getting excited about it, just like we talked earlier about the NFL and the referee and all that, because it makes no sense. It really makes no sense. And it keeps the NFL keeps you talking about them. It's almost like they're making these decisions because they know you're going to talk about them, know you're going to post things about them. They know the fans are going to talk about them for months and months. Now, they're going to make a few more bonehead decisions that's just going to keep people talking. And I can't wait till the season's over. I've gotten to the last few years, and you can witness this. It's like, I don't care who wins the Super Bowl. I just want the season to be over. I'm tired of the drama.
Yeah, I can see that. It will be interesting to see how the rest of these teams, what they decide to do in Baltimore, Tennessee, Miami, Arizona, and Pittsburgh, see who they bring in. It'll be interesting to see. So I don't know. I understand people love the game. There are so many people that I know are fans of football that really don't understand it. They just like the colors. They like the hype of all the everything. They don't understand the X's and O's behind football. But it's great. It's a great drug, as you say, to get behind and every Sunday and root for your team and watch and just kind of hang on to. So I agree with that. So it's almost over. If we had to go back, look back now and reassess our picks, considering what has happened now, um, I still think the Rams have ability. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens today with that game. And I know how Seattle's moving forward. San Francisco just didn't have a shot. I thought they were done. They just barely got by. And now with the injury to the tight end Kittle, I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to compete. I will say this though. Now that I look at it again, and I might be wrong. James told me I'm wrong. So Windhawk said I'm wrong, but that don't mean I'm wrong. Anyway, I really think now. I know Seattle scored their points and whatnot, but I would not be surprised to see New England goes, man. Seriously, because the way they're playing. And you talk about a young quarterback, but they're playing with house money. They're not afraid. You can tell when they get out there, they're not scared. They're just playing.
Yeah.
And when you just play and they won a lot of important games. And along with their coach, they're playing with a no nonsense, we don't care attitude. And there's a lot of things that are going against them. And I'm not saying they're going to win it all because I think if they were to go to the Super Bowl, as you mentioned, versus the Rams, I think the Rams have the upper hand because of the experience and the coach. But I think New England will make it interesting. But I think right now, where we're sitting at right now, and I'm just going to tell you, the New England game and how that's going to come across. I think it's kind of one of them things you're going to say to yourself is, one of our, first of all, I like CJ. He's from the Ohio State University, but I've seen some moments where you talk about Josh Allen,
Yeah, yeah, I've seen those.
and you see where they get tight. And New England is always seeing all year long. And I've been talking about New England because I've been watching them because of fantasy football. I had their running backs, the 1-2 punch, and Henderson, right? And Stevenson going back and forth. They're just like this. With Mike Vrabel, they just going straight forward. Now they've had some hiccups and ups and downs, but they're just like, you know what? It don't even matter. And the way that they play with Mike Vrabel being their coach, if Houston doesn't come correct, I'm telling you now, New England could win. And I would love that'll be. In fact, I'm not gonna talk about what I'm gonna do as far as any bettings, but I'm start looking at some things now that we're at this level, and it would be a beautiful Cinderella story if New England won the Super Bowl. Without Brady, without Belichick, Mike Vrabel, we have to make sure the wide receiver can stay out of court and stay legal. That's what they got to worry about. But
And put a Jimmy hat. Now, you're talking about the same one?
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, staying legal.
How many kids you want?
That ain't no up to me. But hey, you know what? I like I used to say about Michael Irvin, the playmaker. All this stuff going on with him, as long as he show up on time and ready to play on Sunday, he don't hurt nobody. Then
Yeah.
that's all I care about on the field.
Let's go to college football. The big game is tomorrow with Indiana and Miami. Have you changed your mind? Or I know you've been researching and trying to figure out who's going to win this game. But last time we talked, you were all in on Indiana out of the Big Ten. Have you changed your mind on that?
Nope, because when you come in with a focus and attitude, you don't need a lot of hoopla. The only hoopla Indiana has received is because the media called them late. Granted, I know it's hoopla because their quarterback won the Heisman, and I know y'all not gonna like it because I said it was a bad year for the Heisman. It was. It doesn't take away from the fact that he won it, but I think he kind of won by default. But hey, the Heisman is still a Heisman. So all the hoopla, I think they come in with a workman's type attitude. I think they come in strong, and I still think that coach is promoting the same thing he did before, like he was at James Madison. Nobody expect us to win this. So guess what? We're not even worried about it. We're not believing your hype. We know what it is. I'm a coach from a small school, a Power Five school. You don't expect us to win against bad Miami with all of the money and everything too. But we're gonna show you better, I can tell you. And they've done that throughout the season. Indiana, that is, in the Big Ten. In the Big Ten, they beat some of the best teams in the country.
I
And
just
they've
hope
been
it's not a
consistent.
blowout, man. I hope it's a competitive, close game. I hope it goes down to the wire. I hope both teams play well and may the best team win. That's all I'm.
To your point though earlier, as you said earlier in another part of this program, to your point, it's gonna come down to possessions. You
Yeah,
mentioned about it's only so many possessions. And I think Indiana is gonna deliberately handle the time of possession.
yeah.
They're gonna slow it down when they need to. They're gonna make Miami be frustrated. So if Miami comes with their normal reign of terror, the way they do coming off defensively, and then they come up with 10 penalties, I think they're going to lose because they will show they on paper. I said this before. Miami can match up with any team in the country, talent wise.
Yeah.
But their issue is they make mistakes, they make penalties, they make things happen. They do stuff that's outside the box. And when you play primarily a team that is more disciplined and has good players too, play real hard, play with a chip on their shoulder, then it goes a long way. Like their Division 2 playing against on the top seed, they have nothing to lose. And I think that's how that coach prepares them too. Probably put them outside the dome wherever they at, make them practice outside. He probably has a lot of tricks or whatever to just make these dudes mad as hell. Cause say you have not earned anything. So that's why I'm choosing Miami. I mean, not Miami. I'm choosing Indiana because I think that they're going to be better prepared. They're going to be more disciplined, and they want this bad to shut the naysayers up. Imagine Indiana winning the national championship in football, not Notre Dame. Oh my goodness! Oh, I didn't say that. Did I?
Yeah,
I said
in the same state, in the same state.
that.
Yeah, and it should be a good game. Hopefully, it's a good game. You made a Freudian slip and said Miami, but I ain't gonna hold you to
I
that.
thought I said Indiana. I said Miami. I said
I know
Indiana, though, right?
you did it.
Don't do
You
that,
corrected
man. Don't
yourself.
do
You
that.
corrected.
Don't do that.
When you
See,
did, I'm like, okay. Maybe
nah, don't do
you
that.
put
Stay
that
in your
in
office,
the
man.
atmosphere.
Don't do
Maybe
that.
you put that
Stay
in
in your
the
office.
universe.
Stay in your office, man.
Let's go to college basketball, man. There've been some surprises. Iowa drops two in a row. They lost to Kansas and Cincinnati, and they're still ranked number two. We'll see after Tuesday. I think the new rankings come out next Tuesday, but let's go through the rankings. You have Arizona holding on to number one. They had a tough game against Arizona State, the rival, and almost dropped that, but they held on to that. You have Iowa State number two, followed by UConn. Michigan is number four, followed by Purdue, Duke. They're the only team that can handle the SMUs and all the tough teams in the ACC. I'm going to talk about North Carolina in a minute, but let's go to number seven. Houston is number seven, followed by Nebraska. Gonzaga is number nine, followed by Vanderbilt. BYU dropped one last night. They're ranked number 11, followed by Michigan State. And Illinois is coming in at 13, followed by UNC, who dropped two in a row to Stanford and California in the ACC, and Texas Tech, who beat BYU. I was really surprised. I knew Texas Tech was good, but I didn't think they were going to be able to beat BYU, and they did in their first game this season. UNC, I'm not calling for the firing of Davis, Hubert Davis, but Mr. Davis, Coach Davis, you got to figure out a way to make game time adjustments. You got a talented team this year, bro. Probably one of the more talented teams you had in some time. But you got to figure out how to make game time adjustments, especially in the second half, because I'm noticing in these games, and Carolina fans are noticing too, some of them are calling for your head. I'm not calling for your head. I'm calling for, hey, you got to give your players some advice coming down the stretch and during games, because they look lost sometimes. They look lost and they don't know what to do, and that's what a coach is for, to help guide them into victories and get them out of tough situations during games. Your eye test on college basketball, sir.
I warned you guys last week about Cincinnati, Iowa State and Cincinnati. So Iowa State comes in. I know Puma, you mentioned earlier about them still trying to gather themselves after losing to Kansas. So it doesn't matter if they had beat Kansas. I'm telling you, when you come down to the nasty natty in Cincinnati,
Yeah, you
okay?
better be ready.
Yeah, Houston found out a little earlier that you had to come out and be ready to play. They're one of their top names. Hey, I just call him Day Day.
Day.
Day Day down in Cincinnati, put it to Iowa State, number two in the country. Day Day's like, don't come down here playing, because they are serious. So credit to them for that. Iowa State's still a very good team.
Yeah.
I just think if you just have to be very careful, teams that are hungry. And I'm not sure if Cincinnati will even make the tournament. If they do, you do, and they have to play close to Cincinnati. You do not want to see them. The team that really is showing me, you mentioned before about another team that's doing real well, but I got to get this up to UConn. And I saw this, and I think they're just starting to come on. We saw earlier in the year where UConn lost to Arizona, right? So we're kind of wondering if UConn was going to be ready. But UConn is improving defensively, and the offense starting to click a little bit too. And I think Coach Hurley is starting to put these guys in a place where they're starting to ramp up. About this time of year, as you're getting ready to go to the postseason, and the one thing that really has me really, I would say, interested and really intrigued by them. When you look at their schedule, who they've beaten, UConn's beat BYU, they beat Illinois, they beat Kansas, they beat Texas, they beat Florida, and they beat Seton Hall.
Seton Hall's
That
tough this
is,
year too.
yeah, that alone, they're playing a NCAA tournament schedule right now. And now they have a lot more to go as we move forward in their conference as well. You do not want to see UConn. I want to definitely be looking at them depending on where they're at. If they keep playing the way that they are, I'm going to check them down for probably depending on what happens with one of at least my final eight, because I like them a lot from that standpoint. The other teams that I look good, still Nebraska's still hanging on. I like Nebraska. Even though they might slip up a little bit, I like them. Duke is good. Michigan, yeah, they're still hanging around. Purdue still has to show me that they can step up and be the team that's more athletic than they are and more physical. I think that's always been their issue when they play the top teams. Not saying they don't deserve to be in the top 10, top 8, whatever, but when it comes down to it, they're going to really need to show us that overall. I watched Ohio State versus UCLA. I saw two teams just trying to fight and claw to see if they can possibly get that to the end. Ohio State showed a little fight, if you will, to try to win that game. But I think what's going to happen as we get close to the tournament, you're going to see a lot of good teams that are going to show you that they're really hungry. And if those top-notch teams from the top 8 on, as we start to look at the seedings, if they're not ready, you can get popped. You can get popped. So don't get too comfortable. Duke is improving. Don't get too comfortable because if you get too comfortable, you could be on your way home. So I love it. I'm intrigued by everything that's going on. A lot of good games going on from the Alabamas to the Arkansas to New Mexico State. It's a lot of basketball going, some great basketball going in. So we'll see who's ready.
Top four teams in college that have the longest winning streak: Nebraska, 18 in a row; UConn, 14 in a row; Gonzaga, 12; and Houston, 10. So those are teams that you want to watch out for when you're watching. I'm giving a little wink wink to Yinzermama, one of the squad members who's trying to get into the March Madness pool this year. These are the teams you want to watch. They have, winning streaks, and they are some of the top teams in the country, as well as some of the Michigans, the Michigan States, and stuff like that. Clemson is looking really good. Clemson is looking really good. People are watching out for them. Seton Hall, I mentioned earlier, they are a tough team. Watching some Big East play, there's some really good college teams out there. And you're right. Any given day, you come into a game with not in the mood to play, or you kind of tired from the last game, one of these teams will take you out. They'll be glad to take it. You don't want it, they'll take it. NBA basketball, man. And here's why I said weeks ago when the New York Knicks won that tournament, it was probably going to be the worst thing that happened to the New York Knicks. They are on a 3-game losing streak. They can't get it together. Mike Brown is talking about they're not getting back on defense and they're being lazy on defense. Let me tell you, Knicks fans, not Knicks fans, let me tell the New York Knicks players, that tournament doesn't mean jack if you don't win an NBA championship. You ain't arrived yet. You can't lay down now. Now you gotta really play. You play the tournament. You prove that you can beat some of the teams in the tournament. You gotta do it in the regular season. You can't just wait on the playoffs and turn it on. You gotta do it now. And Mike Brown, if Cat ain't playing hard, sit his big ass on the bench. Sit his big ass on, trade him out of there. Come on, man. They're not playing hard. They're not hustling on defense. That's what the bench is for. That's what the bench, dock them, play, pay, whatever you got to do. But I knew that tournament was going to be a problem. I knew it. I wish they hadn't even won it. And if I see a game and you put that banner up, oh my God, I'm gonna have a fit. I'm gonna have a fit like the Buffalo Bill fans yesterday. I'm gonna have a fit. Your NBA. Let's go through the NBA. Let's go. The Pistons are doing great. They got a 2-win winning game streak. They're still atop of the Eastern Conference, followed by the Celtics. I didn't think the Celtics. I thought the Celtics were out of there. But teams like the Knicks and the Raptors and the Cavaliers have let Boston right back in the mix. They're number 2 without their star player. You have the Knicks number 3, followed by the Raptors, Cleveland. You have, and I guess he left his girl at home because, oh boy, over there in Cleveland had a couple of good games. All right. You have the Sixers at number 6. You have the Magic at number 7 and the Heat number 8. The Heat just beat OKC. And so I know they're pumped up about that. Let's go to the Western Conference. You have the Thunder, a 1-game losing streak, followed by the Spurs. I'm really liking the Spurs right now. Those young guys are playing with a lot of heart, and they're not afraid of anybody, followed by the Nuggets. I don't know how they're doing it without the Joker. I really don't know how they're doing it, but that's a team. That's what team play does. Minnesota lost 2 in a row. I think they probably won the game, or they were trying to win the game last night. I don't want to misquote on that, but they lost two in a row based on the standings, followed by the Rockets, the Lakers, and the Suns. Now, I text you about, I was watching, you're like, you watching the NBA game? Yeah, I was watching the NBA game with Houston. And I just, even though they got KD and some of those young guys, it just doesn't seem like KD is the leader that they need. And I don't think they have enough. I don't think they have enough. KD, to me, needs another guy to play off of in that leadership role. He never, even when he was with OKC years ago, he never stood out to me as a leader of that team, because I thought he let Russell Westbrook kind of, lead and do whatever he needed to do, and never kind of got Russ up in the corner and like, listen, man, I need to lead this team in order to get a championship. But I don't know. I just looked at them and like, I'm not really sure he's the answer for them.
I don't know about that one. I think they have played well. Houston, that is pretty much throughout the season. When you mentioned about the way that they got handled by OKC, you
Yeah.
can say that about every team except for San Antonio. OKC are the defending champions. I think Houston still can beat a lot of teams. I think they can make moves to do it. I think they're going to win the championship. No, I do not. I do think they're missing some pieces. But to lose the way that they lost to OKC, because OKC is loaded from the standpoint of when they're ranked from 1 to 9, because everybody has their own place and everybody plays their role. I think that can happen to any team. Houston was pretty much exposed, if you will, by OKC, and it can happen.
They were really exposed.
Yeah, but when you look at other teams on this in this league, that can happen the way that OKC did the same thing to the Lakers, totally dismantled them, and everybody's riding. Oh, the Lakers is rolling. Now we're starting to see who the Lakers really are. So I wouldn't just throw Houston away like that. We saw Minnesota start to struggle a little bit. Golden State is way down the ladder as far as the totem pole ladder when we're looking at teams that are making moves. You try to figure out whether or not they're going to get rid of Kuminga, who has, I guess, now trying to demand a trade because he doesn't like what's going on in Golden State. And they're getting older. I like San Antonio. I just don't know if they're going to be able to push that through the rest of the season. I do like them. I think they have great potential, but it's one thing to do this again in the regular season, another thing to see what happens in the postseason. You have to be impressed by Detroit. They just keep doing it and being number one in that division, in that conference. Say that kudos to them. I say two teams I don't think you want to play as you get ready for the playoffs in the postseason. In the East, Toronto is Scotty Barnes and that crew, very dangerous. Also, too, even though they may not have the experience, I'm gonna say two more teams. I might have mentioned this before. Orlando, matchup problem for a lot of teams. Matchup problem. And something happened the other night. I think they won by like 20 or something. They may not make, I don't know if they can make the playoffs. You do not want to see the damn Charlotte Hornets. You hear me? You do not want to see, because Miller and Ball, they are a problem when they want to play. Now, they might not have all the pieces in there, but they beat somebody else. I think it was the Lakers or somebody by 20 the other night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I don't know if it was just one of the moon, the horizon was shifted, and the house was Aquarius was in the ninth chamber or something.
You go with that horoscope stuff. Where you getting this from? Nico Davis.
Start seeing stuff shifting, like we watching an episode of the Avengers and the X-Men called Charles Xavier. Anyway, but
first time we did it, I'm like, okay, now we doing it again. Did you get your reading done or something?
Yeah. See my palms? Charles Xavier called me. But no, I'm just saying.
Listen to the fifth dimension, the age of Aquarius.
One less bell to answer, baby. Anyway, but when you look at it, I just like Charlotte. I like the way those young guys are playing. I like to see them turn around where they really has stability, because I think deep down inside they can make moves. But then again, there's only one game, but they're a talented bunch. And you just kind of say, if they could make some changes talent-wise, you never know where they could be. But again, like the college basketball situation, one team on one night, you never know what they're going to do. Again, like you said before, the way that Boston is even doing this, smoke and mirrors, I don't understand it, as you said, without their best player. But it's interesting. The NBA does have my interest. They do, and I still I can't wait for the Joker to come back so I can watch Denver. But at least they're showing that the league is pretty much competitive for the most part. Some of the teams that we are expecting to be there, like in the past, Golden State may not be there, or the Clippers are just the Clippers when Kawhi wants to show up. But maybe there's a changing of the guard, which I don't think is such a bad thing, particularly with OKC winning the championship last year.
All right. We're going to go with, I know this is a long show, but we're going to go with what's on your mind, son. And there are a lot of things that are happening in sports. The little man and Wilder, they're going to get at it. We haven't done a boxing show in a little while, but the little man, they're going to do it in 2026. And Usyk said, hey, this was part of my big three that I wanted to get after. And I want the last one. I want the last one. These were the biggest names when I was coming up, and I want to give him a shot, and I want to finish it. And so, God admire man for that, because we were wondering why he want to fight Wilder. He had him on his hit list. And so I know that your son, wink, wink, Shador is going to be fighting next weekend. We'll have a show about that. But what's on your mind, man?
I'm trying to get over that the debacle of refereeing in the NFL. I'm trying to get over some of the bad hires that are coming along in there. The one thing that's really on my mind is watching this transfer portal in college football. And what I mean by that, it's like the wild, wild west. I think I was following Ohio State's transfer portal, and they had like 22, 23 players transfer out.
Wow.
And this was supposed to be a team or a program that was trying to run the docket for a championship. And I know the reason why some of those guys probably transferred out is because they were waiting to play, right? And if they weren't playing, if they're red shirt, the younger guys, they didn't want to sit around and wait for another opportunity. Let's say they're waiting again and they're not playing. So they go out. But on the flip side, Ohio State brought in maybe last time I checked, 15, 16 players from the portal in key positions. I think they got like 3 or 4 players from Alabama, 2 defensive linemen, a safety or a cornerback. So they really pushed on. You could tell that they weren't playing in regards to moving forward, but they showed a lot. But it's so wild. It's like, okay, I'm over here, I'm over there. And I know money plays a part because there's only so much money that you can move around. And if a player really wants to receive his bag, if you will, high-end bag, perhaps he's going to have to go to a school that he normally wouldn't select because he wants the money. So the question is, do they really want to try to win a title or do they want their money? And you see a lot of movement. And I think I want the players to get all the money they can get because for so long former players were not able to do so. But I'm not saying I want to cap on it, but it just seems like too much of a free for all. You saw the starting quarterback was Radiola from Nebraska, hopped over to Oregon because he's ready to go and getting this opportunity. Then come to find out that the starting quarterback from last year decided to skip the draft and come back. So basically now, unless the starting quarterback gets hurt, Radiola is going to be red-shirted or sitting on the bench for a whole year watching this other guy play.
For years, you look at college athletics, and I remember watching a documentary about a life of the college athlete, football or basketball. Their job is that sport. That's their job. That's they spend the majority of their time. I mean, they're in classes, but they're not spending the hours in classes. They're spending playing, practicing, traveling, all that stuff. And so it's become their job. I'm glad they're getting paid, but this thing, you're right, it's getting out of control. And in some way, it's going to have to be organized and regulated. I just don't know how at this particular point. I just don't know how. And maybe people smarter than you and I can get together and say, hey, this is how it needs to be done so it doesn't get out of control. My cousin sent me an article about this one player who is transferring to a particular university who's getting $10 million a year. Adidas contract and all these perks and stuff. And I know the rest of the players on that team not getting that. So it may cause a lot of resentment. It may even cause a lot of, I say, foul play as far as betting is concerned, because if some players aren't getting paid, then it's going to create a cesspool of, well, I want money too, and I want cars too. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get that money or get that bag, as they call it. Last second shot. I got to give kudos to Alonzo Mourning. He opens a $37 million affordable senior housing unit for the elderly, 120 apartments with rent starting at $322. I can't remember the last time rent was $322. And so kudos to him giving back to the community in Florida. And Alonzo Mourning has always been, to me, a stand-up guy, no nonsense guy. And I'm glad he's giving back to the seniors in that community. And kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you. Your last second shot.
I'm gonna talk about the sports fans. Sports fans realize that, as Puma said, he's think everything's moving towards entertainment. I want you to really think about, why do you watch sports? What is it about it? Is it your favorite team that you watch every week? You buy the jerseys, you get excited to only be let down. Or for those that are winning, you get excited because your team won the Super Bowl and you move forward. Or baseball, whatever. You really just start really looking at the individuals that you are calling your heroes or sheroes or whatnot, and see if these coaches and whatnot, along with the sports, really give a damn about you. And maybe you don't care. Your entertainment, you spend your dollars how you want to. Even if it's fake. I was watching a documentary the other night about the wrestler Mick Foley, and how he reinvented himself and hurt himself so bad and did all these different things just to try to make a living. And he was a lot different than most people thought, but he was very productive and made a decent living where he's able to raise his family. So they're human beings too. But to wrap this all up on, put a bow on it, you have to ask yourself, why are you watching? What gets you excited? And maybe you've been doing it forever, and it was something that passed down generation to generation, like the Bears. And you don't give a damn, and you just don't keep watching no matter what. And every year, deep down inside, as much as you really hope it's gonna change, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna let you down. Cleveland. There's gonna be so many different places. They're gonna let you down. But that's not why we watch. It's nice for them to win. But as Puma said, if you didn't watch and you say, I demand better, I want better. You guys I deserve better because I'm spending my dollars, and you're not gonna trick me by making bad calls. My question to you is, if you don't watch, what the hell are you gonna do? Get your tires changed? What you gonna do? Or actually take your kids on a walk? Do something that matters? Get your body back in shape? What you gonna do? I'm guilty. I'm watching that bull. What you gonna do?
Live your life. That's what I
What
learned.
is it?
I didn't watch.
Look, question is, for most of us, what the hell is that?
That's our show. See you next week.